Imagine you can pay your bills with other bills. Like you could pay your, I don't know, your gas bill with electricity bill. That would be awesome and weird at the same time. Okay, here's the challenge. We have an IELTS Task 2 essay scored at 5.5 at IELTS, and we're going to improve it. Let's see how we can do that. Welcome to IELTS Juice. Let's start analyzing and assessing a Task 2 essay that has a rubric saying in many countries, paying for things using mobile phone, cell phone apps is becoming increasingly common. Does this development have more advantages or more disadvantages? Let's look at the elements together. In many countries, not all countries, it's not worldwide, but in certain countries, but certainly more than a few, people pay for their groceries or whatever they buy online with their mobile phone apps. So there are some apps on your phone that you use to pay for your items. Another element, we have present progressive or present continuous here in a way that this is a trend and is becoming increasingly common. So we are on a trend that has started already, and we are in this trend and it is becoming common. So it's on that trajectory, on that path. And that is also something you need to be careful about. Last thing, which is very simple. The essay type says, does this development have more advantages or more disadvantages? We all been to elementary schools. We all passed the elementary course books in English. This is a classic yes/no question. So does this development have more advantages or more disadvantages? Yes, it does have more advantages, or you can say, yes, it has more disadvantages. But either way, it's a yes/no question. At the end of this essay, I need to be aware fully that your response was a yes or a no. I understand you can consider maybe as an answer. That's difficult though. So for us, if we want a 7 in writing, cool. Let's just say our answer is either yes, more advantages, or no, more disadvantages, and then we continue. Let's continue now. These days, payment for stuff by using mobile phone apps is becoming dominant throughout the world. And the strand of this progress has more benefits than more drawbacks, which I will mention in this essay. Oh, finally, I took a breath. The paragraph was one big sentence. That's not good. These days, I need a comma. Payment for stuff is an informal word. Maybe using mobile phones to pay for your shopping items. Doesn't it sound better? Or mobile phone apps, you can say, is becoming dominant. The rubric doesn't say dominant. You are going a little bit ahead of the rubric. You're being more Catholic than the Pope. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying you need to back it up. Yeah, it's like you're saying IELTS tells you that, yeah, this trend is increasing. And you say, no, IELTS, I know more than you do. The trend is not just increasing, it's skyrocketing. And IELTS is like, okay, how? That's the how part. I mean, all the other paragraphs down below are about the how part. Let's see how. And throughout the world, again, not throughout the world, but in many countries. And the strand of this progress, okay, has more benefits than more drawbacks. Good, so that's a yes. Yeah, there are more benefits. Good, that's a categorical yes, which I will mention in this essay. Thank you. I need a comma before which. And I thanked the writer because I know what's about to come, but still, I welcome the extra piece of information. Anyway, moving on to the first body paragraph. On the one hand, I wonder, why on the one hand? Are we going to talk about the drawbacks too? We're making our job a lot harder by saying that, yeah, I'm going to evaluate both elements. It's a good move, it's a bold move, but it's a risky one. I'm not sure we have the resources, I mean, time and the number of words to pull it off, but let's see. There are many advantages in this regard. Let's do it. There are many advantages. Let's see. Firstly, the pace of life has increased by utilizing these apps. All right. As people could pay the cost of products via mobile phones, they wouldn't need to far away of their place. They wouldn't need to be far away. I have a missing verb here. Far away from their place. I don't know the place, maybe their home, maybe their homes, or their workplaces. Comma, I need a comma here. And this time for paying for items could be saved. And this time that is supposed to be used or allocated to paying for items could be saved for other issues. Fair enough. So the first benefit is saving time. As a result, people could increase their activities for doing affairs. Not a good word, not a good word. I mean, generally it's a good word, but not in this context. For taking care of the business, for doing activities and doing their tasks. And the speed of these tasks, work cannot, you cannot, if you pluralize work, the meaning changes. These tasks would be considerable in order to meet them. Yeah, not the best sentence. Generally speaking, I understood. The whole concept is that speed saves time. I get it. I wish we, instead of this vague sentence, we had one example. That's all. In addition, people could save more money by paying for items via mobile apps. Good. With so the second option would so the second benefit is that they can even save money. So the first one was that they can save time. In the second item, they can save money. Let's see how. With people could delete, I'm missing E, the cost of transportation. You don't delete the cost of transportation. You can cut the cost of transportation. You can minimize the cost of transportation. Those are the common phrases. I still don't get this one, which is high via mobile rather than going outside and paying for it. Which it? What's it? If we're talking about shopping items, that's not it. That's plural. If it's about the cost of transportation, what do you mean which is high via mobile? The cost of transportation is high via mobile? I don't get it. They could put this extra cost for their life and can be consumed for other issues. I didn't understand the message very well. I think we have a mixture of some grammar mistakes and some vocabulary mistakes. I still don't know what this with is. With people, and the people are with you, they could put this extra cost. And you don't allocate cost to something else. You save money, and you can allocate money to some other costs. You don't get a cost and you allocate the cost to something else. You know, bills do not pay bills. You need money to pay the bills. Imagine you can pay your bills with other bills. Like you could pay your, I don't know, your gas bill with electricity bill. That would be awesome and weird at the same time. Anyway, moreover, the possibility of accidents which are very common in the street, on the street, would be reduced. So the third option would be the lower chances of being involved in an accident. Fair. These are good points, really good points. As individuals would purchase their essentials by ordering them via cell phone applications, which prevent people from attending the stores, not the stores, stores. I understand the stores, but I'm still, we're generalizing. These people, persons is not the plural of people in this context, will avoid traffic congestion. You don't need this. Okay, sounds fair. Thus, the rate of accidents will be definitely low. All right. Fair enough. The first item you could save time. The second item you can save money. And the third item, well, you reduce the chances of being involved in a crash, in an accident, in a car accident. Amazing. Let's look at the second body paragraph. On the other hand, the use of mobile apps has some drawbacks. Now we're going to talk about drawbacks. I wonder why we do that. There are some good reasons. If you are talking about positive points, then you go ahead and talk about the negative points. There are very good reasons to do so. I just am not very confident that we can do it together. People could lose their money by using. I am just not very confident at the moment after seeing the sentences and some of the word choices. I'm not very confident. People could lose their money by using unsecured apps, which could misuse. Why do you mean from? They could misuse confidential information that the user of such apps has entered. Okay, I'm beginning to understand that there are some people lose their money because they might, these apps might leak some of their confidential information to some bad actors, some hackers, some bad people generally. Okay. Also, citizens could be confused in using mobile apps which are developed and modern. Yeah, people can, we don't need to say could, we can say can be confused because it can happen at any time. It doesn't limit us to any time frame. And people need to learn new skills for working with them. Correct. Which will be complicated in the case of not having enough access to this knowledge. Okay. It's a little bit weird, but okay. Although these two negative impacts are in existence, that's a weird sentence. Although these two negative points exist, they could be resolved by companies which are reliable and can offer, I don't need this comma, secured apps, and essential knowledge for working with them. All right, hear me out. We presented two drawbacks. One was that they might leak some confidential information, and the other is that they are too sophisticated, too modern. I mean, in a negative way. Like, it's very hard to work with them because they are too advanced for the general public to use. All right, but in the end, we came up with a solution, which is a good practice. What's missing in this paragraph is a proper topic sentence. A topic sentence that minimizes the two drawbacks. We only report in a neutral way that there are two drawbacks. There are some drawbacks. We could say that we should not lose sight of a limited number of drawbacks that this trend can bring to the general public. And then we continue by saying that, yeah, there is this one and that one. However, at the same time, we have sophisticated companies, reliable organizations that can fix any loopholes in the codes and in the development of these apps. And at the same time, they can create a user-friendly interface so that even our beloved senior citizens can use. Our grandfathers, our grandmothers can go ahead and make their payments available, or they can just go ahead and do shopping on their apps. That would have been a much better control over the narrative of this paragraph. In conclusion, the advantages of using mobile apps outweigh the drawbacks because of benefits which will bring in such as saving and speed, as well as the cost of transportation will be omitted. Okay, there is an attempt to create a sequence of events in the conclusion, but it's not clear. It's not sequential. We first saved time, then we saved money, and then we improved the chances of not being involved in any accidents. These are not here. I don't see the correct organization. Also, this is all one sentence. Again, I don't like one sentence paragraphs. We spent 383 words to explain something, yet we did not do a very good job here. Let's look at the band descriptors. No wonder. My two main issues, vocabulary errors and grammar errors, confused me, especially in the first body paragraph, the sentence that I told you I had multiple issues with that particular sentence. I really, nothing exceeds 6 in the vocabulary and grammar ranges. So basically, this particular essay needs language improvements. In case of coherence and cohesion, the information was presented logically, not sequentially, but logically. The first body paragraph was about all the benefits, and there were 3, and there were 2 drawbacks. So 3 was larger than 2. Yes, we understood there are more advantages than disadvantages. We understood that part. That's one reason we addressed all parts of the task. So this task response is 7. In other cases, I still don't know why that with at the beginning of the sentence in the first body paragraph exists. And that contributed to this. We had many referencing issues. We focused on elements. We maintained the integrity of paragraphs, but basically, I still don't like one sentence paragraphs. And some elements needed more development. for task response. The writer's opinion is relevant throughout, just the conclusion became unclear when I saw some elements that weren't organized in the correct order as we talked in the introduction and in the first body paragraph, and in the conclusion there was no mention of the drawbacks. That is the reason why there is such a low score for task response. Now, I included a link in the description below where you can see the improved version of the same essay on the IELTS Juice website. Also, if you have any questions regarding the assessment and the improved version, you can ask them in the comment section below here in our YouTube channel, or under the website there is a comment section. You can also ask your questions there, and my colleagues and I will answer your questions in a matter of hours. On that note, I hope you have had wonderful takeaways from today's assessment. I hope really that in the following days I will be assessing your essay, maybe your letter, maybe your report, but whichever it is going to be, I hope they are going to be an absolute awesome representative for your knowledge. On that note, I hope you have a lovely day ahead. Take care.